July 26th, 2002, Friday. Worked from 11 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. It was a normally slow but still hard-working Friday morning. I got home and showered and just lied around for a while. I called Ainsley about 8:20 p.m. and we talked for a while. We never know what to do or where to go, so I just told her I was going to pick her up and we'd see what happens. I'd planned on later going to hang at Lance's after he got off work. I picked up Ainsley at 9:05 and we just cruised down Troost from 79th to 5th, and then I just took a long way around to the theater. It was now about 11 p.m. when we stopped in the back parking lot of my theater. It was interesting driving with her. She's very touchy, like Marilyn was, but not only that, but she climbs around like a monkey. She would put her feet on my dashboard, confessional, and turn completely around and be facing the other way. It was turning me on, strangely. Eric met us down at the theater, and he, Forhelli, and Lance came out, and we left on a long trip to Lance's. We drove to Lance's and picked up his DVD player, and then we drove to drop that off at Ashley's. Ariana, Ashley, and Lonnie were having a girls' night. On the way to Ashley's, Ainsley began to rub my thigh and slowly undo my belt and was running her hands and fingers along the inside of my pants. We stop in front of Ashley's, and I park facing Lance's car. Ainsley is in the position to go down on me, but keeps looking around. We thought Eric and Forhelli were still in the car. They weren't. And if Ainsley had known that they weren't, she told me she would have done something. We leave there, and we go to Steak and Shake, and that was very cool. On the ride there, my pants were still undone, and Ainsley didn't make any effort to do them back up. So we park at Steak and Shake, right next to Lance and them, and I have to exit the truck with my pants undone and try to do them back up without being noticed. At Steak and Shake, there were 3 guys, probably 16 to 18 in age, sitting across from us a bit, and they were majorly checking Ainsley out and making passes at her, but in and amongst themselves. I saw them looking, and they saw me, but I couldn't help but laugh and smile. I liked being the guy that is with the hot girl. We then go to Lance's after taking Forhelli home, and we, Lance, Eric, Ainsley, and myself, watched Terror from Her. Eric found it pretty funny, but sick as hell. After the movie, Ainsley and I left. It's about 4 a.m. I'm not in any hurry to get home, but I am tired. About 25 minutes later, we were parked in front of her house. We sit there for 15 minutes. We talk and flirt and kiss, and I touch her between her legs, and she moans as if she hadn't been touched there in years. I told her we didn't have any place to go, and she knew this, but we decided to go drive instead. I start driving with the hopes of fingering her while I drive, but she kept moving my hand away and undid my pants again. She begins to suck my cock. She goes down on me while I drive. Roadhead, as they call it. I've never had this before. I've gotten road hand jobs, but not this. She does this for a good 5 minutes, and it was fucking great. As I've said before, she reminds me of Caroline. Caroline was the only girl that I really enjoyed French kissing, and kissing Ainsley feels the same way. And Ainsley's blowjobs feel like Caroline's would, although I have no real proof of that. We drove for a while, but I can't find any place to do anything, so I take her home. As much as I wanted her and she wanted me, I'm kind of glad we didn't find a place to go. I don't want our first time to be in a car or at a park or behind a church's chicken. I felt a bit bad because if I had known that I couldn't pay her back, I wouldn't have let her pleasure me. I took her home and walked her to her door, and we kissed. And I drove home and went to bed happier than I've been in a long time. The coolest thing about this was that it didn't feel dirty, you know? It was roadhead, and that's strange and not very romantic, but it wasn't trashy because I really like her and I didn't care if I came or not. I was just happy to have been with her and to have had her share her night with me. End quote. There's room to believe. Out of mind, out of sight, out of reach. Start over is no way to begin. The Get Up Kids song, Out of Reach.